Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the show on HBTV with your host, Harry Bugarin. If you haven't already, do me that quick favor like, subscribe, share, and hit that little bell so you get alerts whenever HBTV is on live. Tonight, we have a very, very special guest coming from all the way from OC, from Orange County. Her name is Sammy McCLYMONDS, and she is the lead and head instructor of a Polynesian Tahitian dance studio called No HAWAIKI Nui. And she's going to be our special guest tonight, so do me that favor, help me welcome her. Good evening, Sammy. How are you? Can you hear me? Oh, one second. I got some technical difficulties here. Let's try that again. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to being with us. How are you guys doing tonight?
Of course, thank you for having me. We're doing really well.
Awesome, awesome. So do me a favor, Sammy. I know there's a couple of people here that are tuned in who do know you, but for the viewers that do not, can you do me that favor and give me that 30-second elevator speech of who you are and what you actually do?
Of course, my name is Sammy McClymonds. I'm 22 years old. I'm from Orange County, California. I just recently graduated with my bachelor's in business marketing, and I spend most of my time here at the studio where I am a Polynesian dance instructor.
Congratulations on graduating college. Actually, I think I missed that post, but congratulations. That's great. So,
Thank you.
um, so really quick, that obviously I brought you on. I wanted you to talk. I want to talk to you just a little bit about your journey as a dancer, a competitor, and now as an instructor for your Polynesian Tahitian, dance studio, and also a mentor. So just take me back, like take me back on that journey. Like, when did you start? How did you start with getting into dance?
Absolutely. I started when I was 5 years old. I don't come from Polynesian descent. My dad is Vietnamese, my mom is Scottish Irish. And one day my mom just said, I was like, hey, I want a hula dance. And my mom was like, what? Hula dance? She Googled it, found a studio in Huntington Beach, and I basically never stopped. I've been dancing for 17 years straight. It's my passion. I love it. And it's what I'm all about. It's how I live my life, everything about it. So I started when I was 5 at a studio called My Polynesia, which was run by Milani Jones. By the time I was 9 years old, I made my way to Garden Grove and I danced for Hitia Otera, which was directed by Alex Tacurio. May he rest in peace. He is an absolute legend and a big reason um, why I fell in love with the culture even more. And then back in 2019, January, I started my dance studio here in Huntington Beach. So I made my way back to Huntington Beach, started here and will end here.
And again, yes, all love to the Tekaruyo family, Hitio Otera, Uncle Alex, blessings to them and their family, and we'll get into that as well. That's exactly how you and I met back in
Yeah.
2015 when we came. But you said it's been in your blood since you're about 5 years old, right? So you started doing that. When did you start feeling like this was going to be actually like a serious thing for you? Like, when I got kids, you've seen my kids, and thank you for teaching my kids as well. Like,
Of course.
they get into tons of things, right? They get into tons of things, and they're like, yeah, I want to do this, that, I want to do this, that. But for
Yeah.
yourself at 5, you're an adult now, right? And you stuck with.
Right.
So when did you feel like, man, this is going to be part of my life? This is exactly what I want to do.
Dance was something I always loved, and I grew up playing soccer as well. So I would say for about 10 years, from 5 to 15, I was doing both soccer and dance. And for me, it was always, I loved both. A lot of times they conflicted. Saturdays, there would be Saturday practice, but I would also have a soccer game. So I would go to
Mm.
soccer games with my hair braided, do the whole thing. Everybody thought I like purposely had my hair like that to look like a soccer ball. It's like, no, I got a show after this. So for about 10 years, I was juggling both. And I think once I hit my freshman year of high school, I was like, okay, I can no longer do both. I need to decide. I need to pick one or the other. And so I played my freshman year soccer in high school. And at the end of that year, I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to pick. And for me, it was an easy choice. Dance was an escape, right? A lot of times soccer can feel, it's a lot of discipline. And for me, dance was an escape. It was a way for me to express myself. It was a way for me to feel confident and beautiful. So it was a really easy choice for me. And I think once I was able to kind of hone in on just dance, not have any other distraction, um, that for me was when I was like, okay, this is like, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, we had one of your dancers, one of your close friends, one of your brothers. We had Taugata Paaga last night. Shout out to you, brother, out there in Seattle, and
Yes.
congratulations for winning. Right, he won that the
First
competition, right?
place. Oh my gosh. It was so funny because the live was going on at the same time that the awards were going on.
Yeah.
And I like texted him because I knew he would see it. So I was like, you got first place, you got first place. But unfortunately, he didn't see it until after live. But yeah, he did absolutely amazing. And we're so incredibly proud of him. I mean, virtual competitions are, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
so hard. You think, okay, you got the lights, you're in your studio, your dance is choreographed. You think it would be a lot easier. For me, it was a lot harder. I competed in the competition as well, and there's just no adrenaline. There's no live beats. There's nothing to kind of get your heart pumping. But he killed it. He did it amazing. So we're
Yes,
very
and
proud.
if you watched that episode last night, I was telling you, he always brings it, as all of you guys do as well. But he always brings it. But reason why I bring him up on his episode last night is you just talked about soccer, you just talked about sports, and just like I don't dance, right? I mean, I'm not. I mean, back in the days I used to dance, but not not now or anything. But I mentioned to him that basketball for myself was a way to express, was a way to keep me away from everything. It made me happy. It got me to that place, and it's great that you're talking about dance, and you feel the same way as well.
Yeah.
How you're able to express yourself, you're able to kind of just be alone in that zone. It could be just like in your studio now, nobody's there except for yourself, but you got that music, you got that floor,
Hmm.
you got that mirror in front of you, and you're going at it. So you talked about the competition, right? You talked about the competition. And we don't have to go into the accolades or anything like that. Everybody, go ahead and Google Sammy McCLYMONDS. You'll see what she's done.
Oh,
You'll see
no.
what she's done on there. You know what I mean? But I mean, we don't have to list that. But I talk about the competition because for yourself, as a competitor, like how is that pretty important to you to compete? Is it something that drives you? Is it something that you got to be a part of doing? Because for myself, when I hooped, when I balled, again, I wasn't the best, but when I stepped on that floor, I wanted to win. Whoever was on my side, whoever was with me, I'm gonna go all out. We lose by 50. It is what it is. At least I left it on the floor. So, as far as love for dance and then competition, like where does that fall in for yourself, and how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think as a younger dancer, I was hungry, right? I was so competitive. I wanted to be the best dancer that I could be. And it was every single competition. It was like I was competing against myself. I would watch my tapes back over and over and over, just like any other sport. I'm watching my own films thinking, okay, how could I be better? How did I turn? What do my hips look like when I turn this way? So for a lot of times it was like me competing against myself, always wanting to beat myself, kind of being competitive with myself.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, as a younger dancer, I was really, really hungry. And I think that's really important to have that competitive edge, especially as a young dancer. It's something that can really drive you and really push you. And there's no better feeling than like right before you go on stage, you know, the girl in front of you just dance, your heart's pumping, you hear the crowd cheering, and you're shaky, you're clammy. It's like this drive. You almost feel like you're gonna throw up. You're like
Yeah.
obsessed with that feeling. And for a long time I was obsessed with that feeling of just being on stage, the lights so bright. And with that comes a lot of hustle, a lot of grind. I think now, where I am in my dance journey in my career, I kind of see it as something a little bit different, right? And the virtual comp was definitely a different challenge for me. And I definitely realized that doing that, but it was so nice to be able to experience something so different. There's no lights, there's no cheering, there's no that anxiety feeling because you know you can take another take, you know you have another chance. So it's a different feeling. But I think my relationship as a whole outside of the virtual, it's more about just having fun. There's no better feeling about being on stage and kind of having that quick, okay, I gotta improv, right? We hear the beat like 5 minutes before, and we're like, gotta make it work. I hope there's a break at this 4 count.
So again, you guys are watching HBTV, the show, with your host Harry Bugarin, me, and my very special guest tonight, Sammy McCLYMONDS of No HAWAIKI NUI. So, as far as competition, you talk about the grind, right? This is, I mean, I'm pretty sure from when you were early on doing it, and now, walk us through that grind. Like, tell us, is it like 4 to 5 months out? Are you in that studio every day after class? You know what I mean? After practice,
Yeah.
and you're grinding until 10. And feel free to give out some shout outs to like those who did help you early on, to prep you for all those competitions and those solo competitions.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, the grind doesn't stop. So I'm not thinking, okay, I got a competition in 5 months. I got to get into it. It's like I'm always trying to improve and I'm always trying to instill that in my students. You should come into practice and want to be better than Monday, right? It's Wednesday, you got to be better than Monday, and so on and so on and so on. You're constantly trying to improve yourself. For me, it's like I want to make sure that I can be the best that I can be, and every dancer should be like that as well. At my Polynesia, my Lonnie really instilled a lot of basics in us: feet together, feet flat, knees bent, big hips, everything big, big, big. And then making my transition to Hitia, it was more about the culture, the dance, the language, the music, everything about the culture, not just the dance, respecting your elders, how you should be in the Polynesian culture as a whole. And Alex, I mean, he instilled that in all of us. If you were a Hitia dancer, you know, after practice, you're going to have a meeting and it's going to be a life lesson of some sort. And I think all of us that have danced there have taken something from those after practice meetings and taken it outside of the studio as well. Obviously, Malia Tafua, she is what drove me throwing my butt, making my wharapu big and fast at the same time, using my stomach, which was something I didn't do for a long time. I had to really retrain my body to use my stomach in every single basic step, and really implementing just good, clean dancing every practice. Whether if it's a warm up, whether if it's at the end of practice, after you've done 5 oteas, 10 minutes of endurance, you're still correcting yourself, looking in the mirror. And for me, like I said, the grind doesn't stop. It's all muscle memory.
Yeah.
You have to be disciplined.
So, as far as your very first competition, right? Do you still remember that? And
I
like you said, do you
do.
still get those
I
feelings? You know what I
do.
mean? Like from day one,
Yeah.
does it ever get old? You know what I mean? Once, like you said, once you stepping on stage, you got 5 minutes, like you said, that whole adrenaline, all the feeling that you were talking about. Does that still happen, or has it changed over time?
It does. I think maybe as a kid, I was a little naive. My first dance competition was Hawaii Reno.
Mm.
I was 6.5 years old. I'd been dancing for a year at that point.
Mm.
And if you know Heva, it's a hard comp. If you make it to the finals, you have to have a choreographed routine. God bless my Lonnie, but she believed in me, but she didn't think I'd make it to finals. So we didn't have a dance choreograph for me. We didn't even have, I think we had to even change our costume to rolled patio. I don't remember the rules at the time, but I remember I got called for finals and I'm like looking at my Lonnie and she's like, we'll choreograph something right now. And she puts like an iPod in my ear, rolls up, some old patio. The photo of it is absolutely hilarious. Who wears rolled patios really? um, but yeah, I was 6.5 and I think that feeling, it was more of like, I just want to have fun. Like,
Yeah.
wow, look at all the sparkly lights. But I think once I started to get a little bit more competitive, and even now, that feeling is still there. It's addicting. It's a great feeling. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So, as far as dancing, where has it brought you? Like, has it meaning like have you been able to go different places around the world and been able to compete or even cultural share with other groups in other places? Can you please
Yeah.
tell us about that?
So one trip that comes to mind, I was in third grade. I was still dancing for my Polynesia at the time, and we got this opportunity to dance in Finland. And it was almost like different kids from different countries, like Germany, Russia, Poland, all came to Finland to kind of display dances from that culture. And so there were about maybe like 8 or 9 of us that flew out to Finland. My brother, Juliet Basnek, Katie Basnek, Corinne Garinger, we all went, and it was a blast. And that was one of the trips that I will always remember. I was so young, but we got to meet so many people and see so many different cultures at the time. And of course, it's Finland, it's freezing, we're wearing grass skirts, coconuts, people were looking at us like we were crazy. But that for me is one of a huge highlight. Of course, Hawaii, and Tahiti, of course. I've been blessed to go to Tahiti 7 times. I mean, it's
Wow.
the motherland. The mana there is incredible. You
Hmm.
fall in love with the culture and the dance and the music. The people there are just so loving. It Tahitian dancing can bring you anywhere.
Right. So I mean, you talk about Tahiti and you talk about that mana, that spirit, that power. Like, what can you tell us about some real big differences between being in Tahiti and dancing and seeing it over there versus what we have here in the mainland of California and across the nation?
Absolutely. I think the culture as a whole, there's
Hmm.
people sitting on the street, playing guitar, singing. They're
Yeah.
just living life. It could be a Tuesday at 3 p.m. and they're just having a good time. We recently went in November to compete in the solo competition and the world championship. And we were staying at an Airbnb, and these guys, big Tahitian guys, were sitting outside of our Airbnb every day, drinking beers, joking around. The first 2 nights, we were like, okay, go into our Airbnb. And by the third night, we were like, these guys are awesome. They were just
Hmm.
there to have a good time. We were joking around with them. Everybody there is just happy to be alive, happy to be in the culture. And in regards to dance, it's everybody's dancing. We practiced with one of our close friends, Manu, and he invited us to his group's practice. And they're dancing on this mountain on rocks, not pebbles, not sand, rocks,
Wow.
completely barefoot. I mean, these people, as long as they can dance, they don't care where it is. They don't care how long it takes to get there. There's no lights, there's no electricity, no running water. I mean, they just want to dance, and it makes you feel like, wow, I take this for granted sometimes, this wood floor, but
Yeah.
it's so amazing. That practice there was one of my favorite parts of the trip because you're just around these people who love it. They just want to dance. They don't care where it is.
How was it? I've never been to Tahiti, but how was it even dancing on that stage, that main stage that they have over there? Well, remind us what is the name of that?
Oahu.
Yes.
That's where the Heva is.
Okay.
I danced there. I had the privilege of dancing on that stage with Hitia, and it's incredible because I mean this stage is huge. You watch it on YouTube. We watch the Heva every year. We study the dancers, and you're like, wow, to be on that stage alone, it's so big and it looks big, but then in person, it seems even bigger. You
Wow.
have like an audience all around you, the big screens. I mean, it's an incredible feeling. I know a lot of us just even when we did a dress rehearsal, we were just in our normal clothes and we were figuring out spacing days before. And like some of us were emotional just by standing on it. It's such a privilege. It's amazing.
That's great. That's great. One day, the family and I, we do want to take a trip out to Tahiti, and just see the culture, see the music, hear the music, and just feel everything out there. So, thank you for
Yeah, you
that.
should.
Um, just want
And
to
the French
transition
fries.
into yes, just want to transition to your studio now. You starting up the dance studio, and now you're transitioning from dancer, competitor. Now you're instructing, right? So how tell us about that, like what the major differences and how you feel about now you're the instructor, now you're
Hmm.
the mentor, you're the person that's gonna have to crack that whip sometimes, to to your
Yeah.
students. And then how much of that from your past experiences, how much of that from Uncle Alex and Hitio Tera do you bring into your experiences here with no Hawaii Nui?
Absolutely. I kind of touched on it how my relationship with dance kind of changed. It was all about the dance. Then with Uncle Alex, it was all about the culture. And at Hitia, they allowed me to teacher aid some of the classes. And so I was able, each year I would teach, babies or adults or teenagers. And so I got to dip a toe in each different age and kind of how as teachers, you change, right? If you're teaching babies, you're almost your tone of voice, everything about you changes. When you teach teenagers, it's a little more moody. You have to change that way as well. But I think with dance and my relationship with dance and my love for dance, it's always pivoting. It's always changing. Before it was, you know, this is so fun. I feel so pretty, the costumes. And then it's like, okay, this is competitive, this is fun. And then it changed from, I want to perpetuate, the choreography that Malia's making up. I want to be able to tell the story that she sees in her head. And then from being a teacher, I've fallen in love with seeing the students experience what I experienced. You know, finally feeling like they have a smooth flat out or finally getting the timing or figuring things out for themselves, kind of having this like aha, like, oh, like this is why you all love it type of moment. Seeing that in my students is what drives me now. It's what makes me fall in love with it again in a different way. And I believe as a dancer, you're always learning. And just because I instruct now doesn't mean, I'm not a student. There'll be times where I'll be teaching an ahurua and one of my students will do something different with their foot. Maybe if it's wrong, right? It's not the choreography at the top, but I'm like, yo, that's sick. I like that. Let's do that. So I'm constantly always looking at my students, not as like, I'm still trying to learn from them, because I think dancers from any level, their love for dance and their expression of dance is something that should be appreciated and should not be overlooked as an instructor as well.
And as an instructor, have you ever had any aha moments, you know, that you can talk about?
Like certain steps, absolutely. I just had one this last Thursday. We were doing an afata and traveling, and one of our students was like, "We could switch it up this way, and instead go into this pattern." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I've never even thought about that," because I've been dancing for 17 years. I know what I know. And having somebody just take a different perspective of it, I'm like, oh yeah. So I have those all the time. I probably had 2 or 3 just last week. I'm like, oh, let's do that. I like that,
So as far as like now you're becoming a choreographer, right? So where do you pull like your inspiration to teach these and learn it and create it? Do you have any choreographers out there that you look to, you tap into as a resource that you like to give shout outs to, as far as like,
Absolutely.
here or there?
Yeah. Sam Nye, which is our creative director of No HAWAIKI Nui. I've been dancing with him for almost 15 years, and he is one of the most creative people I know. He is, if you know Sam, he is the funniest person in the world. He is a light. He's so funny. But the way he comes up with, I'm very type A. I like 4 counts, things get done. I like to think I'm very traditional and basic in my dancing. And Sam is so carefree, so we kind of balance each other out. So he is our main choreographer with a lot of oteas, and he absolutely kills it. It's the way he hears the beat versus I hear the beat. It's so funny. And obviously he's a male dancer, right? So we kind of work together. He'll show us, 4 counts, and the girls will look at me like, what just happened? And I'm like, okay, 5, 6, I've like had to translate with him, but he choreographs a lot, so I'd like to give a shout out to Sam Nye. And then stuff, that I choreograph. I just try and let the music tell me what to do, and then I just feel myself, like if it's an ahurua, play the song, try and figure it out, or if it's an ote, I listen to the beat over and over and over. But I try to let the beat tell me what to do. That was something that the Tukurio family always instilled in me, especially in competing, is the beat's going to tell you what to do, right? The beat is the beat. You have to dance to the beat. And so that was something that's always been really important to me, and just kind of letting it come out of me, really.
That's great. That's amazing right there. I love it. And big, like you said, big shout out to Sam right there. So really quick, just a couple more questions, with our time. As far as, with your journey now, right? With your journey now, where do you see yourself? You're pretty young. You just started this, you're full steam, right? So where do you see yourself with the group, with yourself as a choreographer? In about 5 to 10 years, where do you see yourself taking this?
Absolutely. I mean, the studio is my family. The
Mm.
the studio consists of people I've known. Like I said, I've known Sam for almost 15 years. My best friends dance with me. So it's something that not only is a job now, right? It's my job, but it's also a way for me to spend time with my friends who I consider family. It's a way for me to express myself. It's everything that I embody. Um, and in terms of like a 5-year plan, I hope I'm still doing the same thing, maybe with a bit more numbers, a little bit more people at the studio. But I hope that I'm still dancing, I'm still creating, I'm still building these relationships with my friends, with my dance brothers and sisters, students, always constantly learning about culture, technique, um, everything that I possibly can about the culture, and sharing that with the world. I mean, the Polynesian community is big, but in terms of ballet or jazz, it's very small, it's very niche, and um, I think there's still a lot for the world to learn about it. It's not just about booty shaking and coconut bras.
Hmm.
There's so much
Hmm.
more to it. The language, the Tahitian language is something so beautiful. And at the start of quarantine, that was something that was really important to me because Alex always wanted us, if we ever did a Makuta or an Ahurua, he would write down the words and the translation. So when we would dance, we would know what we were dancing about. We knew what the lyrics were about. And that made me not only fall in love, obviously, with the language and the dance more, but it was allowed me to portray what I was doing and know why I was doing it. So
Sure.
at the start of quarantine, um, I found this 101 word Tahitian vocab
Hmm.
list. So every week, every practice, each class learns 2 new words, and we've been building, and we're almost done with the list. So maybe we can't hold a conversation, a full sentence, but we know 101 vocab words.
There it is.
So in terms of 5 years, I hope I'm still, keeping true tradition and portraying, you know, the Tahitian culture, Polynesian culture. We have Tongan dancers, we have Samoan dancers.
Yeah.
I I hope that I'm, sharing this love and this
Hmm.
passion with everybody else and watching my students grow.
That's great. That's great. So, Sammy, I want to talk a little bit about what you do at the studio, classes, and what you guys offer there, and if you guys are inviting new members to come join your group. So please tell us about that, where they can get that information. The website, follow you on IG, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So we are open currently Monday through Thursday. We have an advanced class for 13 plus. We have beginner classes for men Tuesday from 7 to 8. Ages are 13 plus as well. We have a beginners ladies Thursdays from 7 to 8 as well, 13 plus. And then our kids classes starting from beginner to advanced, the same class, which would be 12 and under, are Mondays and Tuesdays 6 to 7. If you gain some COVID-19 LBs, got you covered with our cardio class every Wednesday, 6 to 7. And if you guys are interested, we're always welcoming new students, new family members. You can find our information at www.nohawaikinui.com or at no.hawaiki.nui on Instagram or on Facebook at just No Hawaiki Nui Polynesian Dance Studio. But all of our information is on there. You can contact us, DM us. But yes, we're always welcoming new students.
Well, thank you for that, Sammy. So, just a few more questions as well before I let you go with our time, and thank you for your time. As far as somebody trying to get into dance, Tahitian dance, competing, want to open up their own, new studio as well. Do you have any advice for that young person, male or female, who wants to do exactly, what you're doing?
Starting a new studio, you said?
New studio, getting into competition dancing, and
Yeah.
just Tahitian dancing in general.
Okay. Definitely having the mindset, right? Like I emphasized a little bit in the beginning about the muscle memory. I think some of our girls and boys feel it. If they skip a practice, skip a week, you definitely feel it. Um, it's like with anything, you need to put in the time. You need to be mentally present. practice is, 2 hours a week, 2 times a week. You're here. You need to be at the studio, mentally present. You want to be better for yourself. And with Polynesian dancing, you really kind of find a way to understand your body a little bit more too. And my advice to anybody would be first understand the culture, to understand, you know, the Polynesian people, why they dance, right? It's not this sexy, way to gain Instagram followers. You're telling a story, you're reliving very past long ancestors. And so you want to be able to respect that culture, know why you're doing what you're doing, understand the language, listen to the music, listen to the beats, learn basic beats, do everything you can to lay down a good foundation and then dance from that. But again, in terms of skill, you have to be mentally disciplined. You have to understand, why you're doing what you're doing, and want to do it for yourself, because at the end of the day, a teacher can only yell at you so many times, right?
Yeah.
It's up to you if you want to be a good dancer.
Well, thank you, Sammy. Thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. Thank you for, taking us through your journey through this. Um, Before I let you go, do you have anything you want to tell the viewers, or do you have maybe a quick number you can do for us to
Yes,
send us off?
we could do a quick number for you
Okay.
guys.
All right. So this is what I'll do. I'll go ahead and transition. I'll let you guys set up, and I'll get you guys back on the Zoom after. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you
See you
guys
guys soon.
soon. All right, so that's our special guest tonight. That is Sammy McCLYMONDS of No HAWAIKI Nui out in Orange County. Really blessed to have her on the episode tonight. They're going to do us a quick favor and actually perform a number. So make sure you stay tuned for that. After we post the video, make sure to check out the video description. You'll see all of their information on their Instagram. Check out their website. Get information about their classes and what they do there. So just stick with us. We're going to go ahead and let them get ready. Get them on Zoom and get ready for the performance. So just stick around. Again, you're watching HBTV, the show, with your host Harry Bugarin, and our very special guest tonight, Sammy McCLYMONDS of No HAWAIKI Nui.
Overall Vahine,
Well, thank you so much, Sammy, for that. We do appreciate it. That was great. Thank you so much,
Thank
Sammy,
you
and
so
and
much.
that was beautiful. Um, Again, everybody, make sure you visit their website. Make sure you follow Sammy. This was Sammy McCLYMONDS of No HAWAIKI Nui. Please tell your dancers, everybody there on your line, thank you, Maruru.
Thank you.
You guys have a blessed night. You guys be safe, and definitely, I will be keeping in touch. I'd love to hear more about what's going on with you and your group and everything out there.
Thank you, Marururoa.
We'll see you guys. Thank you very much. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in to that episode tonight. That was wonderful. That was a great number that they were able to perform for us. The sound may not have came in, really well. I hope it did. I'll review it on the video, but nonetheless, that was beautiful. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you to you guys and your dancers. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. We're always on every Sunday, for the most part, 6 p.m. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share, and hit that little bell. Again, we're just broadcasting positivity one episode at a time, and this is what we do here on HBTV. So I do appreciate everything, everybody that follows, everybody that does tune in every Sunday. I do appreciate the support. And just really quick, just want to give our love to the Teka Rio family, Hitia Otera. Blessings to you guys, to the family. Bless you, Uncle Alex, and family. Rest in love. You touched a lot of people, not just here on the mainland, not just here in California, but just across the nation, globally, outside of here. Your influence has transcended a lot of levels, and we love you, we love your family, and blessings to your family during this time. So this episode is dedicated to Uncle Alex from Hitia Otera. You guys be safe, and have a blessed week.